Okay, if you've been wondering if it's even possible to buy a home right now, this conversation is for you.
Landin, can you hear? And today we're talking about
First-time home buyers.
Yeah, topic of choice lately.
Yeah, so I mean, the last few years, it's been a little bit of a tighter market. Prices have gone up. Everyone knows. You hear a lot of chatter online. It feels really overwhelming. It feels confusing. Is it even possible with where interest rates are? And the reality is yes. Like there really are options. 2026 is not necessarily going to be an easy market, but it's definitely a market of opportunity.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to be an easier market than it has been the last couple of years. There's been a lot of talk about affordability, and not just amongst agents, but amongst like major players in the real estate realm, including the government, the cities, and lots of people are putting their heads together and
Lending.
saying, how can we make it better and more affordable for people to get into homes that want to get into homes? And we're here to try to tell people that there are a lot of solutions. And so this thought that maybe you can't, and that isn't for me and I missed the boat, it's like, no, actually it's maybe more attainable right now than it has been the last few years. And we want to talk about a lot of those solutions that can help first-time home buyers get into a home, and why it's so important that you do sooner than later.
So some things that have changed is interest rates have actually gotten quite a bit better. We've seen a lot of improvement this year. So rather than being at the height, we were around 8s and 7s. We're in the 6s, lower 6s right now, which allows millions of buyers back into the market. So we're seeing buyers re-enter the market. Mm-hmm. Also, I think after a couple of years of such a tight affordability, sellers have loosened up a bit, and not so much in price. Like values have stayed fairly. I don't know what I'm trying to say, flat. Like they haven't really spiked up or down. Like they've stayed fairly consistent. But concessions, like sellers are understanding, like the whole market has had to adapt. Or they have had to adopt solutions. I really didn't mean to say adapt. So the market has had to learn to adapt to this affordability. If buyers can't afford to buy a home, you can't sell a home. So sellers have kind of started to understand that this isn't the market that we were in, 4 years ago when,
everything flew off the
homes
shelves.
Were just flying off the shelves. So we see a lot more help with concessions, which is actually really beneficial for a first-time home buyer.
Yeah, it actually is. And maybe on the surface that might not sound like it's so beneficial, but when you look at the fact that right now you can get maybe 3% concessions.
Which maybe we should define that if this is for first-time home buyers.
Oh, yes.
Concessions. Basically, when we say concessions, it's anything that the seller will contribute toward your purchase. So let's say you offer $400,000 on a house, you may be able to get up to 3%. I mean, sometimes more than 3%, depending on the loan that you're using. There are some regulations, but you could get maybe $12,000 back that go toward your closing costs, or potentially an interest rate buy down, so you can actually pay money up front to lower your interest rate.
Or they can upfront pay your insurance, your HOA dues, or you can actually take that if you've exhausted all of the upfront payments and the rate buy downs. You can then, if you have extra concessions left over, say, okay, now I just want to take that to reduce the price.
Yep.
But actually, taking those concessions is better for first-time home buyers right now than just taking a $12,000 decrease on the purchase price, because a $12,000 change in your purchase price in a 30-year amortized loan, what you're actually going to see in a difference in your monthly payment is really small. We're talking maybe $100, maybe even less at that point. But $12,000 in your pocket is money you don't have to spend right now, and it makes it easier to afford a down payment. And actually be able to afford buying a house.
And they're kind of like we just referenced, there's just lots of different tools that you can use, different type of financing options that you can use. And everyone's barrier to home ownership is a little bit different, whether it's cash out of your pocket, whether it's credit, whether it's the actual payment. That's what I was looking for. What is it? So there's different barriers that make it harder to buy, or that could be a barrier to home ownership. But if you I guess what I'm trying to say is there's lots of barriers and there are also lots of solutions. And so sometimes it's not a lack of ability to buy a home, but it's just a lack of clarity. So it's worth it to just sit down, have a conversation. We can look at the situation, put you in contact with our lender to look at all the different options. Plus, there's things like grants, which we sort of alluded to.
Mm-hmm.
There's grants that you sometimes don't have to pay back, or you pay back when you sell a home.
Or have no interest.
Yeah. So basically, the whole point is that there are a lot of tools in the tool belt to help first-time home buyers, and the market is softening in a way that we can get buyers into homes. So if you have the desire, don't just write off that there is no possibility. I mean, we've seen, as you've been out shopping with some of our first-time home buyers, we've seen payment scenarios as low as, what was it, $1,300?
Yeah. Like with rate buy downs with some of the new builders out there, it was like your payment was $1,300 the first year, $1,500 the second, and then like $2,000 from year 3 to 7, and that's amazing. That's like unheard of in today's market.
You can't even rent for $1,300 right now.
Yeah, for real. Like, yeah. And so again, lots of options. And something I wanted to throw out there too, we mentioned down payments. As far as barriers go, a lot of people still are under the assumption that you have to have 20% saved up for a down payment nowadays. And again, there are loud voices out there saying that's what you should be doing. Maybe that's right for you. Maybe it's not though. And exploring some of those other options where typically almost nobody is buying with 20% down nowadays. Like right now, a 3 and a 5% is super common. Even like some of these loans for first-time home buyers with grants, like you can get away with almost no down payment. So again, barriers to entry, they're bringing them down. They're trying as hard as they can to get people into homes because they know that home ownership is so powerful. It's good for people. It's good for the individual. It's good for the family. It's good for the community. They want people to own homes, and people want to own homes, and so they're bridging that gap really well.
Yep. So really the gap is not a gap in ability. It's really just a gap in knowledge and understanding of what the tools are to be able to overcome affordability and get you into a home.
Yeah, the steps you actually have to take to just make it happen.
Yeah, exactly. So just sitting down, having a conversation, it's never too early to actually look at it with a professional. Like we have lots of tools in our belt that we can help make this a little bit less daunting and scary for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And for the first-time home buyers out there, right? Like if you're trying to get into your first place, I think there's also a reframe of maybe expectations. I think there's some expectation that this home that you're going to buy, you're waiting to buy almost the forever home. You're like, well, I don't want to buy yet because what I can't afford is the really nice home with the giant yard and like the everything you want.
It feels like the general expectation is that we're going to do the same things that our parents did.
Buy one home and live in it forever.
Exactly. They're going to buy their first home and it's going to have everything they want with a whole bunch of land and they can stay and raise their family forever. And that's super ideal, but we're in such a different world right now. The affordability, the limited land, especially here in Utah, like we don't have a ton of buildable land, which is why we're seeing a lot smaller yards and newer homes. And they're building homes in a much more affordable way. So they're pretty simple, these starter homes. But I think the reframe needs to be that this isn't just your starter home, but it's really like your foundation of your both financial and maybe residential aspiration, like future. Like you need to start somewhere getting into the market. That's always been our advice for any first-time home buyer is just buy as
whatever
soon
you can,
as you can. Yeah. And like I don't mean like just go buy and like risk everything as soon as you can, but as soon as you can actually afford a payment and factoring in the things that don't fit on a spreadsheet, which is your lifestyle and your dreams and your goals. As soon as you can afford a home, get into a home. It is probably not going to be the home that you want to live in forever, but it will build the foundation for you to be able to move up. And a home like what we're sitting in right now is the perfect option. We're in our newest listing, which is 2,200 square feet. It's a townhome in Saratoga Springs. You've got a cute little backyard, but common area space for the kids to play. And it's like enough space to live comfortably, but it's also not a huge cost that's going to be a burden on your lifestyle.
Yeah, something like this is a good launch pad. Like you should owning real estate is beneficial. The statistics show that people that own real estate versus people that rent, the net worth differential is enormous. Like it's 100x for people who own a home versus people who are renting. And a home like this, it's so perfect for that starter home, for that either young family or even a young single individual, like some of our buyers have been, where you get into a home like this and the maintenance is low. The upkeep is easy. It's like, it's spacious enough, but not overwhelming to maintain.
Yeah.
Plus, neighborhoods like this, you get good like community instantaneously, which is also really important for us as human beings to have good connection, good community around us. And a home like this, you can move in, and if you have a couple kids, you're golden, right? Again, we've got parks next door, or like one of our clients right now, a single gentleman who is going to buy a house and rent out the rooms. Something like this, you could rent these rooms out for $700, $800 a room. Bam, that's $1,400 to $1,600 off of your mortgage. If you're a single person, it's a great way to house hack and like share space with people. This is really where first-time home buyers nowadays are starting. Townhomes and condos. And that's fine. You don't have to feel like, oh, I don't want a condo, I don't want a townhome. You're going to live here for maybe 3 to 5 years, and they're going to use the equity you've built and this asset you now have to then help exponentially like increase your ability to go buy in 3 to 5 years when your next stage of life
just to leverage it into your more ideal home from that point. But I guess my fear for any first-time home buyers is the ones that are just sitting on the fence.
Or sitting in your mom's basement. You got to get out of there. She called. She wants you out.
And the fear, though, is that they think that they can't afford a home, and so they wait and they try to find the perfect time, or they think they need the 20% down payment, or they just simply think that they can't afford it and they're scared. And there is quite a bit of a gap between what you're like, the fear and the actual reality of what is possible.
Yeah, it's a lot more feasible than people think.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what are the first steps? How do you get started? Obviously, just call us, and then that's it. that's really it. Just call us. Give us a call.
We have the team. We have the knowledge. We have the systems in place. This is what we do all day, every day. Is we help people find the homes they need. But it's actually really important that actually be the first step, because a lot of people get ahead of themselves. They start looking at houses. They start dreaming. Searching for homes is like America's pastime on Zillow. And so it's frequent we have someone call us or something like, I just found this house and I'm in love with it. And this is the first time we're hearing.
I want to buy a house. And we're like, oh, okay. We skipped a few steps here.
Yeah, let's reel it back here. People will start shopping for homes before they figure out their financing. And financing, getting that figured out, is really the first step.
Yeah, at Good Life Homes, we are very big on intentionality and alignment. So we look at your home purchase not just as a transaction or your payment as just a number, but really, how do we align the home that you live in and the payment that you're going to have to pay with your lifestyle? So we really like to start with a full consultation where we sit down and we talk out all of the goals and objectives, what your current goals are, what your future goals are, because all of these things, the home that you choose to buy is going to affect your daily life now and in the future. So we like to get really clear on that. And then also getting a pre-approval, which a lot of people get kind of nervous and scared. They're like, oh no, they're gonna hurt my credit.
And this is like, once I get a pre-approval, I'm in, and
it's
stuck.
Like a commitment, like you have to move forward, and none of that is true.
Yeah, none of that is
they
true.
can do soft pulls that don't hurt your credit. Once you're actually under contract or they're really moving forward, they're going to need a hard pull as well. But really, just getting a clear financial picture of what you can afford. What is your buying power now? What is the financial commitment? Do you need a down payment? Can you get away without a down payment? Do you have enough money for closing costs? If you're not ready right now, that's okay. At least you'll know where the target is. How much money do you need to save up? Do you need to get a pay raise? Do you need to work on your credit? So there's a lot of these things that we can just kind of fine tune and set a game plan for, so that you know how to move forward.
Yeah, getting that financing, what it does is it gives you more data points. It gives you information. It gives us, the real estate professionals who are guiding you through this, just more information. And the more information we have, the more clear picture we can paint and plan and make this process go as seamless and as stress-free as possible. But sometimes when we just jump into it, something we're out seeing houses and trying to throw in offers, and we haven't even talked to lending, and it's like, then it becomes so convoluted and so stressful and so high pressure. It's like, no, like, we really can slow this process down, do the groundwork first with a good consultation, good understanding, good data points, good financing, and then really go out and look for homes.
Absolutely. It's not about perfection. It's not about having a perfect credit score or having the perfect income or anything perfection. it really is just about preparation. And so we highly encourage getting started as early as possible and getting as clear as possible. And then we have all of the information available to make good decisions and to have like a clear game plan and a clear path forward. So if that's something that you're interested in, if you've been desiring home ownership but afraid that you can't actually afford it or that there isn't a way forward, give us a call. Zero pressure. There's no expectation, but we would love to help you. I guess use the tools that are available to get you into home ownership if that's what you're looking for.
Yep. And that's it for today. We'll see you next time.